How you begin your morning decides how weak or strong your mind will be for the rest of the day. Most people wake up already defeated, not because life is difficult, but because their mind starts the day without direction. They wake up and immediately react to notifications, to news, to other people's expectations. Before they even leave their bed, their attention is scattered, their emotions are unstable, and their day is no longer theirs. Stoic philosophy takes a completely different approach. Stoics believed that the morning is the most important psychological moment of the day. It is the only time when the mind is not yet corrupted by external chaos. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He didn't wake up hoping the day would be easy. He woke up preparing his mind to remain calm, disciplined, and rational, no matter what happened. Stoicism is not about motivation. It is not about positive thinking. It is about mental discipline. And discipline begins in the morning. If you start your day without intention, the world will decide your mood for you. If you start your day without clarity, emotions will control your actions. If you start your day without structure, stress will dominate your thinking. A Stoic morning routine is not about productivity hacks. It is about mental sovereignty. It trains you to control your reactions before they control you, anchor your mind before chaos arrives, build emotional resilience before pressure appears. This is why Stoic morning habits feel different from modern routines. They do not promise happiness, they promise stability. They do not focus on chasing pleasure, they focus on reducing unnecessary suffering. Every Stoic morning habit is designed to answer one question: how do I remain unshaken today, no matter what happens? In this video, you will learn 5 Stoic morning habits that reshape how your mind operates throughout the day. These habits are not symbolic. They are practical, psychological, and deeply relevant to modern life. They help you start the day with clarity instead of anxiety, build discipline instead of emotional dependence, respond with reason instead of impulse, remain calm under pressure, detach from what you cannot control. This routine does not require hours, it requires intention. Even a few minutes of correct mental preparation in the morning can prevent hours of emotional damage later in the day. Stoicism teaches that you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your preparation. And preparation begins the moment you wake up. If you want stronger days, you must build stronger mornings. These 5 habits will show you how. Habit 1. Start the morning by separating what you control from what you don't. Most people lose control of their day before the day even begins. They wake up and immediately allow their mind to be pulled outward. Messages, notifications, news, memories, worries, everything rushes in at once. By the time they stand up, their emotions are already reactive. Stoic psychology begins the morning differently. Before engaging with the world, a Stoic defines the boundaries of control. This habit is the foundation of mental strength. Without it, every other habit becomes unstable. Epictetus stated a principle that sits at the core of Stoicism. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. Most emotional suffering comes from confusing these two categories. In the morning, when the mind is still quiet, a Stoic takes a few minutes to make this distinction clear. What is within your control today? Your thoughts, your judgments, your effort, your actions, your values, your response to events. What is not within your control? Other people's behavior, their opinions, outcomes, unexpected problems, delays, praise, or criticism. This may sound obvious, but it is rarely practiced. Most people wake up hoping the day will go their way. Stoics wake up prepared for the day not to go their way, without losing their composure. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the day would bring difficult people, selfish behavior, and obstacles. He didn't write this to become pessimistic. He wrote it to remain steady. This habit prevents shock. When something goes wrong later in the day, the Stoic mind recognizes it immediately. This was never mine to control. And when something requires discipline, the mind also recognizes it. This is mine to handle. That clarity removes emotional friction. Most anxiety is not caused by events themselves. It is caused by the belief that things should have gone differently. The Stoic morning habit removes this illusion early. A simple practice looks like this. Sit quietly for a few minutes after waking up, before checking your phone, before speaking to anyone. Ask yourself, what parts of today belong to me? You identify your responsibilities, not outcomes. You remind yourself that your job is not to control how the day unfolds, but to control how you show up. This mental positioning changes everything. You stop taking delays personally. You stop feeling attacked by criticism. You stop panicking when plans change. Not because these things disappear, but because they no longer dominate your inner state. Modern psychology supports this idea. People with a strong internal locus of control, focusing on actions instead of outcomes, experience less stress and more emotional stability. Stoicism applied this centuries ago. This habit also protects you from ego-driven reactions. When you clearly define what is under your control, you stop seeing every inconvenience as a challenge to your worth. Someone disagrees with you. That is not yours to control. Someone misunderstands you. That is not yours to control. Someone disrespects you. That is their behavior, not your character. Your responsibility remains the same. Act with integrity and reason. Starting the morning this way creates psychological armor. You enter the day with realistic expectations. You are not surprised by difficulty. You are not dependent on perfect conditions. This habit does not make you passive. It makes you efficient. Energy is no longer wasted on resentment or worry. It is directed toward effort and discipline. Over time, this morning practice reshapes your identity. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? You start asking, what is required of me now? That shift is power. The world becomes less threatening when you stop demanding control over it. Life becomes calmer when you stop arguing with reality. By beginning each morning with this separation, you reclaim authority over your mind. Not by controlling everything, but by controlling the only thing that truly belongs to you, yourself. Habit 2. Begin the day by training your mind to expect difficulty. Most people wake up hoping the day will be easy. They expect cooperation, smooth plans, understanding people, and quick results. When reality fails to match these expectations, frustration appears. Stoic psychology teaches the opposite approach. A Stoic begins the morning by expecting difficulty, not to become negative, but to remain composed. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. He reminded himself that he would encounter selfishness, delays, disrespect, and resistance, not because the world is cruel, but because the world is human. This habit is called premeditatio malorum. It's the premeditation of challenges. It is not pessimism, it is preparation. When you mentally prepare for difficulty, obstacles lose their power to shock you. Surprise is what turns inconvenience into suffering. Most emotional reactions are not caused by events themselves, but by the gap between expectation and reality. Stoicism closes this gap early. In the morning, before the day begins, a Stoic calmly considers. Plans may change, people may disappoint, efforts may not be rewarded immediately, progress may be slower than expected. This reflection does not weaken motivation. It strengthens resilience. When difficulty arrives later in the day, the mind recognizes it. I anticipated this. And because it was anticipated, it does not feel personal. This habit also protects you from entitlement. Many people believe that effort guarantees smooth outcomes. When reality disagrees, anger follows. Stoicism removes this illusion. You are not owed comfort. You are not owed cooperation. You are not owed recognition. What you are owed is the opportunity to act with discipline. Modern psychology supports this principle. Mental rehearsal of challenges improves emotional regulation and stress tolerance. Stoics practiced this centuries before the science existed. This habit transforms how you interpret resistance. A delay is no longer an insult. A disagreement is no longer a threat. A setback is no longer a failure. They become expected features of reality. This does not make you passive, it makes you steady. When others become reactive, you remain calm. When others complain, you adapt. When others panic, you think. This creates psychological advantage. People sense when someone is unshaken by difficulty. They sense preparedness. Beginning the morning with this habit also sharpens gratitude. When you stop expecting ease, small victories feel meaningful. When things go smoothly, you appreciate them instead of taking them for granted. A simple Stoic morning practice looks like this. After waking up, spend a few moments imagining realistic challenges you might face today. Not catastrophes, just normal human difficulties. You tell yourself, people may act unfairly, plans may fail, effort may go unnoticed. Then you add, and I will respond with reason and composure. This final part is essential. The goal is not to dwell on hardship. The goal is to rehearse how you will respond. This habit builds emotional immunity. When the mind is no longer surprised by difficulty, it stops reacting emotionally. It becomes deliberate. Over time, this practice reshapes how you experience life. The day feels less hostile. Challenges feel manageable. Your confidence grows, not because life is easy, but because you are prepared. A Stoic does not demand a smooth path. He prepares himself to walk any path with dignity, and that preparation begins each morning. Habit 3. Begin the day with a clear intention to act with virtue. Most people start their day reacting. A Stoic starts his day deciding who he will be. This habit separates those who are mentally stable from those who are emotionally scattered. Stoic philosophy teaches that the only true good is virtue, character expressed through action. Everything else is secondary. Virtue, in Stoic terms, is not moral perfection. It is the consistent choice to act with reason, discipline, fairness, courage, and self-control. Each morning, a Stoic deliberately sets an intention to live by these values, regardless of mood or circumstance. This is critical. Without intention, emotion leads. With intention, reason leads. Most people assume they will try to do the right thing when situations arise, but when pressure appears, emotion overrides intention. Stoics remove this risk by deciding in advance how they will act. Marcus Aurelius wrote reminders to himself every morning about patience, humility, and rational behavior, not because he lacked intelligence, but because he understood human weakness. This habit is not about affirmations, it is about commitment. In the morning, the Stoic asks, "How will I act today when tested?" He does not wait for the test to decide. He commits to speaking with restraint, acting with fairness, responding without aggression, maintaining dignity under pressure. This preparation creates consistency. When challenges appear later in the day, the mind already has a framework. There is no debate. There is no emotional negotiation. The action is chosen. Modern psychology supports this. People who set clear behavioral intentions in advance are more likely to act in alignment with their values under stress. Stoicism understood this intuitively. This habit also strengthens self-respect. Every time you act according to chosen values, you reinforce your identity. You become someone you can trust. Self-respect grows not from success, but from consistency. Most regret comes from moments where emotion overruled values. Stoic intention prevents this. This practice does not eliminate emotion, it prevents emotion from becoming authority. You may still feel anger, fear, or frustration, but these feelings no longer decide your actions. They become background noise. This habit also simplifies decision-making. Instead of asking, "What do I feel like doing?" you ask, "What aligns with my values?" The answer is often clear. This clarity reduces mental fatigue. The mind stops oscillating between impulses. A simple Stoic morning practice looks like this. After waking up, take a few moments to reflect on how you want to behave today. Not goals, not outcomes. Behavior. You might tell yourself, "Today I will act with patience. Today I will speak honestly and calmly. Today I will not allow emotion to dictate my responses." These are not wishes, they are commitments. When the day becomes difficult, and it will, this intention anchors you. You no longer ask who you should be in the moment. You already decided. Over time, this habit transforms your character. People may not notice immediately, but consistency builds quiet authority. You become predictable in the best way, reliable, steady. The Stoics believed that a person who governs himself is never weak, even when circumstances are. By beginning each morning with a clear intention to act with virtue, you create a stable core that does not shift with emotion or pressure. This is how discipline becomes identity. Habit 4. Use the morning to reduce desire and detach from urgency. Most people wake up already chasing something. Attention, validation, productivity, pleasure, control. From the first moments of the day, their mind is pulled forward by desire and pressure. This creates urgency, and urgency weakens judgment. Stoic psychology teaches that one of the most powerful uses of the morning is to reduce desire, not stimulate it. Desire itself is not the enemy, uncontrolled desire is. The Stoics understood that the more you want, the more fragile you become. Every strong desire creates fear, fear of loss, failure, or delay. When the mind wakes up craving outcomes, it becomes dependent on them. This dependency destroys emotional stability. A Stoic begins the day by deliberately lowering desire. Not ambition, not effort, desire. There is a difference. Ambition is disciplined effort without emotional attachment. Desire is emotional attachment to outcomes. The morning is the best time to reset this relationship. Epictetus taught that freedom comes from wanting things to happen as they do, not as you wish them to. This does not mean passivity. It means alignment with reality. When you wake up and immediately rush toward goals, you give those goals emotional authority over you. Your peace becomes conditional. Stoicism removes this condition. In the morning, a Stoic reminds himself, "I will act today, but I do not require immediate reward. I will work today, but I am not entitled to smooth results. I will engage with life, but I will not be ruled by urgency." This mindset slows the mind without slowing action. Modern psychology confirms this. Excessive urgency increases anxiety, impulsive behavior, and burnout. Detachment improves focus and emotional regulation. This habit also protects against comparison. Many people wake up and immediately measure themselves against others. Progress, success, recognition. This comparison inflames desire and creates unnecessary tension. A Stoic does not compete emotionally in the morning. He anchors himself in sufficiency, not complacency, sufficiency. This means recognizing that you are not lacking something essential to remain calm. You may want improvement, you may pursue growth, but your worth and peace are not dependent on it. A simple Stoic morning practice looks like this. Before engaging with work or external input, you reflect on what you truly need today, not what you want. What you need? Usually the answer is simple: clarity, effort, discipline, not validation, not speed, not constant stimulation. This reflection reduces internal pressure. When desire is reduced, reactions slow. When urgency fades, thinking improves. This habit also changes how you approach tasks. You stop rushing to finish. You stop panicking about results. You focus on execution. The quality of action increases. Life feels less demanding when you stop demanding so much from it. Reducing desire does not make life dull. It makes it stable. You begin the day grounded instead of restless, focused instead of frantic. The Stoics believe that a calm mind is capable of great action. A desperate mind is not. By using the morning to detach from urgency and reduce unnecessary desire, you protect your emotional state from being hijacked. You enter the day deliberate, not desperate. That is Stoic strength. Habit 5. End the morning by committing to self-discipline. Over comfort. Most people organize their day around comfort. They ask, consciously or unconsciously, what will feel easiest? What will feel good right now? What can I avoid? Stoic psychology trains the mind to ask a different question. What requires discipline from me today? This habit completes the Stoic morning routine. Without discipline, clarity fades. Without discipline, intention collapses. Without discipline, even wisdom becomes useless. The Stoics believed that freedom does not come from having more options. It comes from needing less comfort. Comfort is not evil. Dependence on comfort is. When the mind expects ease, it becomes fragile. When it expects effort, it becomes resilient. A Stoic uses the morning to remind himself that the day is not meant to be comfortable. It is meant to be lived with purpose. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly warned himself against staying in bed too long, against choosing softness over responsibility. Not because rest is wrong, but because avoidance is dangerous. This habit is about setting the tone. Before the day begins, a Stoic asks, what difficult action must I not avoid today? This could be a conversation you have been postponing, a task that requires focus and discipline, a boundary that must be enforced, a habit that requires effort instead of comfort. By identifying this early, you remove negotiation. Most procrastination happens because the mind keeps delaying discomfort. Stoicism ends this loop by deciding in advance. Modern psychology supports this. People who commit to effort-based behavior early in the day experience less stress and higher follow-through. The morning mind is less emotionally burdened. This is the ideal time to choose discipline. This habit also protects against emotional bargaining. Without discipline, people tell themselves, I'll do it later. I don't feel ready. I'll wait until I'm motivated. Stoicism rejects this logic. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is not. A Stoic does not wait to feel like acting correctly. He acts correctly because it is required. This does not mean self-punishment, it means self-respect. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you reinforce trust in yourself. You become someone who follows through. Self-trust is one of the strongest forms of confidence. This habit also simplifies life. When discipline is chosen in advance, the mind stops debating. There is no inner conflict. The decision is already made. A simple Stoic morning practice looks like this. Before fully engaging with the day, you identify one action that will require discipline. Not 10, 1. You tell yourself, this will be uncomfortable, but it is necessary, and I will do it without complaint. This commitment creates momentum. Once discipline is established early, the rest of the day becomes easier. Effort no longer feels exceptional. It feels normal. The Stoics believed that character is revealed not in comfort, but in resistance. By choosing discipline in the morning, you align your day with growth instead of avoidance. This habit also reduces fear. When you stop avoiding discomfort, fear loses leverage. The mind learns that effort does not destroy you. you become psychologically stronger. Comfort seeks safety, discipline builds strength. A Stoic does not reject comfort entirely. He simply refuses to be ruled by it. By ending the morning with a commitment to discipline over comfort, you enter the day grounded, prepared, and internally aligned. You are no longer waiting for the day to be easy. You are ready for it to be demanding. And that readiness is power. Habit 5. End the morning by committing to self-discipline. Over comfort. Most people organize their day around comfort. They ask, consciously or unconsciously, what will feel easiest? What will feel good right now? What can I avoid? Stoic psychology trains the mind to ask a different question. What requires discipline from me today? This habit completes the Stoic morning routine. Without discipline, clarity fades. Without discipline, intention collapses. Without discipline, even wisdom becomes useless. The Stoics believed that freedom does not come from having more options. It comes from needing less comfort. Comfort is not evil. Dependence on comfort is. When the mind expects ease, it becomes fragile. When it expects effort, it becomes resilient. A Stoic uses the morning to remind himself that the day is not meant to be comfortable. It is meant to be lived with purpose. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly warned himself against staying in bed too long, against choosing softness over responsibility. Not because rest is wrong, but because avoidance is dangerous. This habit is about setting the tone. Before the day begins, a Stoic asks, what difficult action must I not avoid today? This could be a conversation you have been postponing, a task that requires focus and discipline, a boundary that must be enforced, a habit that requires effort instead of comfort. By identifying this early, you remove negotiation. Most procrastination happens because the mind keeps delaying discomfort. Stoicism ends this loop by deciding in advance. Modern psychology supports this. People who commit to effort-based behavior early in the day experience less stress and higher follow-through. The morning mind is less emotionally burdened. This is the ideal time to choose discipline. This habit also protects against emotional bargaining. Without discipline, people tell themselves, I'll do it later. I don't feel ready. I'll wait until I'm motivated. Stoicism rejects this logic. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is not. A Stoic does not wait to feel like acting correctly. He acts correctly because it is required. This does not mean self-punishment. It means self-respect. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you reinforce trust in yourself. You become someone who follows through. Self-trust is one of the strongest forms of confidence. This habit also simplifies life. When discipline is chosen in advance, the mind stops debating. There is no inner conflict. The decision is already made. A simple Stoic morning practice looks like this. Before fully engaging with the day, you identify one action that will require discipline, not 10. 1. You tell yourself, this will be uncomfortable, but it is necessary, and I will do it without complaint. This commitment creates momentum. Once discipline is established early, the rest of the day becomes easier. Effort no longer feels exceptional, it feels normal. The Stoics believed that character is revealed not in comfort, but in resistance. By choosing discipline in the morning, you align your day with growth instead of avoidance. This habit also reduces fear. When you stop avoiding discomfort, fear loses leverage. The mind learns that effort does not destroy you. You become psychologically stronger. Comfort seeks safety. Discipline builds strength. A Stoic does not reject comfort entirely. He simply refuses to be ruled by it. By ending the morning with a commitment to discipline over comfort, you enter the day grounded, prepared, and internally aligned. You are no longer waiting for the day to be easy. You are ready for it to be demanding.